Hey. Bitcoin sinks as Celsius rises from the ashes. On today's show, we're going to be discussing Celsius. We're also going to be rating someone's portfolio, and we have a special co-host joining us. Hello, first and foremost, my name is David. I'll be one of your set co-hosts, and today, like every single weekday, we're coming at you live from our beautiful studio right across the stadium of the losing Las Vegas Raiders, which is the Allegiant Stadium. By the way, Raiders, Packers, Monday Night Football. I will be there. I'll be there. Guess who I'll be rooting for?
What for?
You already know who I'll be rooting for.
Packers.
Guys, we're excited for today's show. We have a lot to talk about. Again, my name is David, and today joining me to co-host is one of our favorite people, friend of not only the channel, but of our personal lives, and that is none other than the man himself, Crypto Lifer. Lifer, how you doing, bro?
You're rooting for those Packers, right?
That's right, man. You're not a Raiders fan, right? Please, for the love of God.
You know what? You know what's funny is, as a kid, I think my dad liked Kenny Stable. Was that the old Raiders quarterback?
Stabler?
My dad Stabler, yeah, Kenny. Because my dad used to tell me these stories. And he was like, Kenny Stabler. There'll be a minute left. He did it every time, right down the middle. He's like the Raiders. And so I had this affinity for the Raiders growing up, man, because my dad loved them. You know, my dad was like a pirate. You know, so. All right, but I grew up Patriots.
You know, Sam, in honor of your dad, I will not talk crap about the Raiders today. Okay.
Today's his birthday. Today's my dad's birthday. My first year without my dad.
Hey, man, happy heavenly birthday to your father, man. That's you know, the best we can do is make them proud by keeping their spirit alive. And I feel like we're both doing a pretty decent job. You know, maybe my dad's probably yelled at me a few times from up there, but hey, you know, sorry.
Hey, that's good. That's good. I felt that.
Guys, today's gonna be a fantastic show. I see a raid going on here, so I see a cysteine research raid. So big shout out to Forrest and all you cysteine researchers. By the way, what is the name of your community? We know the Lifers, right? Lifer gang. What is the name of cysteine's community? Forrest, let us know. Is it the cysteiners? Is it the I don't know.
The Chapelers.
The Chapelers. Chapelers. All right, guys. Want to give a couple shout outs. So first and foremost, want to thank channel sponsors. First up is Cam's Blue Wire Technology. They are our network and IT solution partner. And so if you run a business and want to maximize your networking, IT, and your cybersecurity, there is one company that we've had luck with and that we are sticking with, and that is Cam's Blue Wire Tech. If you want to learn how they can help you, visit bluewiretech.com. Also, a big thank you to Radix for sponsoring the channel as well. The top layer 1 DeFi in our space. If you want to learn more about their ecosystem, the new upgrades, Babylon has officially hit the mainnet, successful launch there. So big congratulations to the team. Visit radixdlt.com, or there is also a link in the description of this video as well. Now, if you're new here, what we like to do every show is we like to ease you in, you know? Worse is when you just get thrown into something or, you know, just shove your way in. We like to ease things in here. We like to put a smile on your face, and we like to get the stream going. So if you're here early, the early bird gets the laughs, so they say. So, Lifer, before I play this video, I would like to ask you, right? Rocco, if you want to pull this up, what do you think happened?
Okay.
We got a guy holding a hammer and a nail, right? Obviously, you know it's gonna be something funny. So, what do you think happened?
He got a hammer and a nail. Maybe there was a good trade, and they were like, he nailed it, and he's like nailing. You know, he's one of those stupid things where the guy's like blowing on the candles. One of those kind of things. I don't know.
You can take the trader out of the charts, but you can't take the charts out of the trader. I just coined that new term. So if you use it, make sure you give me credit. No, but here is what really happened.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Was
that Rocco? Did Rocco pick that one?
Yeah, that was a good one. Then we have this, guys. Halloween's right around the corner. Last year, I was Michael Saylor for Halloween. Who will I be this year?
Oh, that was great. You had me on the show. You were hilarious.
That was so dude. I was trying to stay in character the entire time.
Jenna thought you were serious the whole time.
Jenna was like, no, that's not Michael Saylor. We're like, yeah, it is. She's like, no, it's not. You're not fooling me. And I couldn't hold myself, dude. It was so funny. What an epic show that was. I got to give Rob some credit, man. That was Rob's idea. I was kind of iffy about it. I was like, he's like, dude, he's like, I'll make sure the visually looks good. Just make sure you get the voice down, the nasally voice. And so anyways, Halloween's around the corner, and here's an idea if you want to
That's official. That's kind of cool. I like that.
That's a good one. Yeah. Cool. What is that, a schnauzer? Anyways. Yeah.
Got me to death.
Speaking of dogs, someone took an action shot of their dog jumping in water, and it will haunt my sleep forever. What is this?
What are we looking at?
This is a dog jumping out of water. It's kind of scary, huh?
Yeah.
You don't see it. Right here, dog out of water. I think this is actually off the coast of Italy too. I could be wrong.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
the dog is eating spaghetti, by the way. No?
The dog is, yeah. He just got done eating spaghetti. That's why he's sweating.
He's got Kramer's haircut, man.
Not Jim Kramer. Kramer from Seinfeld, guys. Okay. You gotta remember, we do have some young people in here, so they probably have no idea what the hell. Also, this was pretty funny.
That baby has Jim Kramer's haircut.
Yeah. Hopefully, he doesn't have Jim Kramer's pics. Baby, before it's born, please be Norway. Where am I? Birmingham. Oh, and then you see the look on her face. Now, I do want to say, I have one of our community members. I'm not going to dox who he is, but I believe they live in Birmingham, Alabama. So to you, it's not against you. I like you, but and also. Surprise your wife with this, guys. Baby, remember when all the money we saved up to buy our dream home? Well, here it is. I bought a Bitcoin mining.
Oh, God.
That's funny.
Oh, man.
Look at her eyes. She's like,
what would, if you were this guy, what would your wife do or say? Would she turn around and smack you? Would she be like, babe, okay, I trust you? Like, what would be the response of your wife?
I mean, at the beginning, she's a little skeptical, but all my harebrained schemes have played out so far. So now she has faith, but she didn't always have faith. Now she has faith though. So she'd be okay with it now, but she wouldn't have been okay with it then.
Yeah. Stack McChange said, what did I walk into? We are an entertainment focused cryptocurrency channel. We will get to crypto. I promise this is going to be good, but all right, let's move on. So this is kind of funny, I guess. So the Satoshi Nakamoto handle, which hasn't been active since 2018, tweeted, I'm not going to read the tweet, but what is funny is the community notes. This isn't the real Satoshi Nakamoto, creator of Bitcoin. It's an account related to Craig White, who claims to be Satoshi with no material proof. The account below is rumored to be the real Satoshi, one of only 2 accounts posting about Bitcoin in 2009 with Hal Finney, and it gives links. So I want to ask you, I don't think I've ever asked you this question, Lifer, but I feel like a lot of the lore of why people are so drawn to Bitcoin is there's no one person you can point to. There's no wallet dumping Bitcoin. What do you think would happen to Bitcoin if Satoshi, the real Satoshi, we were to find out who it is and they became active and maybe we found out they do have control over the 1 million Bitcoin in the original Satoshi wallet? What do you think would happen to the narrative and the price of Bitcoin?
I guess I have to play devil's advocate because I don't think he'll ever do that because that's how much he cares about Bitcoin, the person who created it. I think that's kind of like par for the course. But if it did happen, I think it would just create euphoria. I think people would try to hunt him down and probably take him out. You know what I mean? Governments, hackers. I just figure like I don't know, like he possesses some of the greatest knowledge the earth has ever seen, right? And he's turned at one point $1 trillion asset out of thin air.
Yeah,
like that. It's alchemy at it's digital alchemy, right? I mean, I think it would be amazing. People would try to line up to find him. He wouldn't be able to go outside. I think he'd be mauled, right? I would try to find him. Like everyone would want to know where he is. I think he's best off staying on the low. It just would cry. I think it would just create too much insanity in the space. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know what the price. Though. I don't know. I mean, it might freak people out. Is he going to dump? I don't think he would dump. There's a lot of questions there,
I think
it seems exciting.
I think if the day were to ever come where Satoshi revealed himself, I think Bitcoin would take a massive dump. I really do, because the fear of, oh my God, he's going to sell the 1 million Bitcoin. Well, now it's not the same because we know who the founder is, and the whole idea was this decentralized. No one knows who founded the project, and now it's all up to the miners and the node runners. I think it would definitely harm the price of Bitcoin in the short term. In the long term, I think we'll get over it. The only thing I think can harm Bitcoin in the long term is something changing on the base layer, the protocol level.
Yeah.
Which I don't see that happening because the miners are too incentivized to keep things the way they are and make the network better and faster and less energy intensive. I do want to give a shout out to Crypto Pipple, $3 super chat said, "Hey Lifer, David, have you looked into VRA at all?" I have not. I don't know if Lifer has. Feel free to chime in on this.
I first bought Veracity on, I believe, Uniswap or PancakeSwap. I don't remember. I bought it on a decentralized swap before it was even on Binance or any of these exchanges, like 18 months, 2 years ago. I like Veracity. I think it has legs. Something I hold, like $1,000 worth. I think it can easily 20 to 30x. I think it's a good project. Can have some legs. I've known about it for 2 years, but yeah. Okay. Actually, the chart was looking somewhat interesting recently too. Yeah, VRA Veracity, man.
Cool. I like this. Is something I should look into because I don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's a low cap gem that has potential for sure. You know what I mean?
Okay.
They can do some damage.
Lifer says so. I'll do it. All right, guys. We have a couple videos I want to show you. So this one is from Brad Jones, who managed. He was a CEO of ERCOT, which is Texas's grid. And listen to what he says about Bitcoin mining and how it affected ERCOT and the power grid down in Texas. This is the CEO of the company.
So for many years, ERCOT had been looking for loads of scale that could really respond in a demand responsive way that could help us balance our grid. Back in 2015, you may remember, we started the process of setting up loads in SCED. It was through, I think, about 2016 or 2017. No one showed up at first. There just wasn't any loads of scale that could really help us in that market. But it's here now, and it's a great thing for helping us to balance the grid, helping us to manage all of our resources. The Bitcoin has the nature of really turning down when prices begin to rise in a way that we can give that power back to other consumers. And at the same time, as we bring more and more renewables into the state, it becomes a driver of more renewables. Because right now, if we bring in all the renewables that are signed up to want to come to our state, there will be a significant depression of pricing during the day. By having Bitcoin there to assist and to stabilize those prices throughout the day, it's going to drive more renewables into our system. And that's good for Texas.
I have, I'm not a miner. I don't delve deep into that world as far as the expertise, but I do know the FUD that's been surrounding Bitcoin, and you keep seeing these graphs of, Bitcoin mining power uses more energy than an entire country of Argentina. But I've always said, right, you leave it to the miners, you give them incentive to come set up shop in your state, they will find ways to find and harness cheap energy. We see them doing it with methane gas at the oil refineries, right? All the methane that gets let off, they're trapping that gas and they're using it to mine, whereas it would have gone in the atmosphere and harmed the environment. You're seeing what the former CEO of ERCOT is saying. If Lifer, one of the big things with Bitcoin, as far as the negative narrative in mainstream media, has been it's bad for the environment. They're not really able to say that anymore, or are they? What are your thoughts on the narrative? What else can someone say if they're trying to talk negative about Bitcoin? And what do you think about what the former CEO of ERCOT here said and Bitcoin mining?
Well, I remember when this first came up. And everyone was going over this. And so I did some deep diving because I knew this would come at me, right? As the green ESG and all this stuff came out, I had to figure we would get attacked like the Bitcoin people, right? Especially if they just felt like we decided to lean one way, regardless of if we did or not, right? People have been labeled lately like a political thing, even if they're not even part of that. They just happen to think something and they don't even know it's part of that other thing, right? So I saw that, wow, they could try to couple us. And so I started doing some research, right? And I could share my screen for a second with the banking industry. The banking industry, with all their ATMs, their bank branches, they're printing the paper, all the electricity, they far out surpass the energy consumption of Bitcoin. Number one. Like gold far outpasses the energy consumption of Bitcoin. They have to dig into the ground, all the oil, they don't even know if they're going to find it. They speculate. Washing machine industry, right? The logging industry. Like there's multiple industries that are far surpassing the energy consumption of Bitcoin. So number one, Bitcoin actually is one of the best captures of energy because at the time you use that energy, but that energy never disappears. It's a value that gets created forever. So even though the miners takes a lot of time to produce the Bitcoin, that Bitcoin holds its value. 10 years from now, the Bitcoin's even worth more than it was when the miners made it. So isn't that actually holding the energy and actually making it more prosperous over time? I actually think it's, like Michael Saylor says, one of the greatest forms of energy ever created. The human race, I don't think, is smart enough yet to figure this out, like, or a large portion of them. They're still in some legacy, fighting the idea that, it's miners and computers. Yes, agreed. There are some systems, like there's always that XRP battle. And for all you XRP people, we love you. And I'm not a Bitcoin maxi. And there's people that don't believe, like the other day I was in a Spaces and they get so into XRP, they start, it's so much better than Bitcoin. It's faster. Blah, blah, blah. They're not the same, everyone. Bitcoin is gold. XRP is a credit card. Like, just understand that they don't ever have to compete. They don't have to compete. They're not competing. Because I get that a lot with the Bitcoin maxis and the XRP army. But, at the end of the day, I like the mining because it's more secure. I never liked that Ethereum went to proof of stake. I personally thought it was the worst thing in the world. But again, I'm old school. So there's many industries that waste far more energy than Bitcoin. And I believe Bitcoin actually holds energy better than all these other industries. And because you can use it years later, it's still there and it's actually worth more.
Yeah. And the way I think is, and you're 100% right. I don't understand the people that are just trying to pin one thing against each other. Like, if Bitcoin succeeds, it doesn't mean XRP can't succeed. They can both succeed together. So, and one is going to help the other. The XRP lawsuit is helping Bitcoin. Bitcoin gaining market share in the capital markets and traditional finance is going to help XRP and is going to help the crypto industry. So I don't understand this whole tribalism of XRP is better than Bitcoin. Like you said, they do completely different things. Like, you can root for both. Yeah. It's okay, guys. It's totally fine.
I mean, I will say XRP dumps, Bitcoin's doing nothing. Bitcoin dumps, XRP's going down the tubes.
That's what I'm saying.
You
I'm just
take that with a grain
to
of salt.
some point, on a price level, they are interconnected, right? But from a level of what they're doing, they're two completely different things, right? It's like gold is used for certain things, silver is used for certain things. I did have something to say, but I completely forgot. I'll probably get to it in a second. Guys, if you're new here, make sure to say hello. I do want to share this little clip. This is from Stanley Druckenmiller, okay? So I want you guys to understand, Stanley Druckenmiller, my apologies, is one of the most successful investors over the last 3-4 decades. He was part of the Black Wednesday, the George Soros-led destroying of the British pound, where they pretty much just completely rugged the entire central bank in England, and the pound lost, I don't know how much of its value. It was one of the most craziest feats ever. I think they walked away with over $1 billion in profit, right? He also has not had a single negative year for 30 consecutive years. Not once has he taken an L over the last 30 years. And listen to what he had to say about Bitcoin.
I have warmed up to the fact that Bitcoin could be an asset class that has a lot of attraction to it as a store of value to both millennials and the new West Coast money. And as you know, they got a lot of it. It's been around for 13 years, and with each passing day, it picks up more of its stabilization of a brand. So I own many more times gold than I own Bitcoin. But frankly, if the gold bet works, the Bitcoin bet will probably work better.
I want you guys to understand something. He is saying this when Bitcoin was at 15,000, its bottom, right? He was saying this when Bitcoin was at 15K. What do we always say, right? It's cliche, but Warren Buffett says, be greedy when others are fearful and be fearful when others are greedy. 15K, everyone is running around with their tail tucked between their legs. Oh my God, is Bitcoin going to zero? It's crashed. Crypto is going to nothing. Then you have one of the most successful investors going on CNBC and saying this about Bitcoin. Let's listen to the rest of what he had to say.
Because it's thinner and more liquid and has a lot more beta to it. In terms of copper, sorry, Kelly, go ahead.
Sure. No, I was going to say understood it, and I certainly don't want to overstate it, but and also, like we said, you have kind of a different rationale. When Bill was talking about Bitcoin, and he's been very bullish on it for many years, and a supply demand kind of thing. But for yours, it's almost a simple mathematical calculus as well. If we're talking about a weak dollar.
That's the thing. It is mathematically programmed, right? Bitcoin is mathematical. You don't have to trust a Federal Reserve, a chairman, a bank, the president, no one. It's all written in code and it's ran by code and math. And so that is the beauty. Bitcoin. Anything you wanna say to that, Lifer? Any, like, to the people that are still here? I know it's been a pretty long bear market, right? We saw FTX and everything, and some people might have lost hope. There's a few, there's community members that I haven't seen in a long time. I'm sure you have a few of those in your chat as well. Anything you want to say or piggyback off of what Mr. Druckenmiller said in this video?
Yeah, I get these epiphanies, and I think about the viewer, right? They're watching us right now, and when he says that, there's a lot of viewers that didn't buy the bottom, and they're kicking themselves, and they're like, dang. And I'll teach you something, you got to be in markets for years to really become a bottom buyer. And like, if I, just share my screen for a split second, like Bitcoin on the 2-week chart, right? Now, I got acclimated with the 2-week chart after years of trading. You don't, when you have $5,000 in your pocket and you're trying to double it, or $1,000, you're trading the 1 hour, the 4 hour, maybe the daily. It's rare for you to start looking at the weekly, the 2-week, the monthly chart. But I've been invested now for Bitcoin for 7 years. So now I'm a long-term investor. The chart now speaks to me long-term. So it's okay if you've missed some of these bottoms. Understand that this won't be the first market you trade for the rest of your life if you're learning with me or anyone out there. There will be another cycle in the stock market and some other things in the next 10 to 20 years, and you're going to be able to pick out these bottoms. Just instead of beating yourself up that you missed the bottom, learn about where they were and how to identify them. I use the 2-week chart, and I buy when the stochastics are low for Bitcoin at, basically we're in a bear market year. If we get any lower, if this happens to come down again, which we're going to talk about some bearish price action later on, which I have something planned, but I just want to let you know, it's okay if you missed it. Just learn right now. So 10 years from now, you will buy the bottom of a bigger market that you're in. Okay. And so, these prices, buy when there's blood in the streets, especially when it's yours. And that's something that took me years to figure out. Like, I had to be trading for 15 years. After 7 years of missing some bottoms and being in the markets, only in the last 7 years have I really managed to buy, like, close to or pretty much the bottoms of some markets. So don't beat yourself out. I just had an epiphany. There's someone watching right now. It's like, damn, I missed the bottom. And like, they're getting a little emotional. You're in the right place at the right time. Just keep learning.
And it's like that mental thing, like, oh, I missed the bottom, it's pointless to buy now. It's like, if you have $100 in your hand and you lose $1, are you going to throw the rest of it away because you lost $1 out of 100? No, you're not. You're going to hold on to the rest. So, Kathy Wood always says, and it's so true, you can't, it's not about timing the market, it's about time in the market, right? The longer you stay, the better your returns are. You look at Bitcoin's returns over the last 10 years on aggregate, if you would have just held, you would have made a crap load of money, no matter if the price was down 70% or up 3,000%. It all evens out. Scott Watson.
Just to show you just real fast,
go ahead.
You're saying, and just take 1 second, but yeah, the Dow Jones, look, these are every October. And I think I showed this last week for you guys, but every October. So look, had you just got in 2010 and never sold, look how much money you have right now.
Oh.
So just reiterating that point.
Yeah, man. It's all about perspective, right? They say, when in doubt, zoom out. It's so true. Let's give a round of applause to my friend Scott Watson. It's his first ever super chat, and we are the recipient of Scott's first ever super chat. $10.
I love that.
It's our first super chat on YouTube ever. Thanks for the portfolio review, David. Sammy, you're the man. Doing your dad proud. Been watching you both a long time. Mr. Watson, thank you, my friend. We love having you in our community. So big thank you there. Big boo for Sam Bankman-Fried. His trial began today. And my God, Sam, did you watch?
Wait.
Did you watch? Did you watch that 60 Minutes on Sam? And did you?
I watched pieces of it. I've watched pieces of it where they made him look like a genius,
dude.
And he was arbitraging. Like,
I was like Rocco. I started watching and I had to turn it off. It was very irritating. And then I'm like looking at clip notes from the book. I'm like, what the hell are they doing? What are they doing? And so we do have an update from Sam's court. Compliments of AP_abacus. Update per court proceedings in the Sam Bankman-Fried fraud case today. Prosecution states that SBF was never offered a plea deal. Now, I am no detective. I'm not a judge. I'm not a lawyer. But what the smart people are saying is that means that Caroline, Ryan, and Gary provided meaningful intel to just flat out convict the guy. And so we saw those pictures of Sam Bankman-Fried in New York, or sorry, Caroline Ellison in New York by that coffee shop, just feet away from the Southern District of New York Federal Building, where everyone assumed she was going for a plea deal, and it kind of looks like she maybe was. DOJ source earlier said today the following: a light sentence would be 30 years. A reminder that Bernie Madoff got 150 years. Now, again, Sam, we're not lawyers here unless you have a law degree that no one knows about. But any thoughts on what you would like?
That still doesn't make me a lawyer.
I know, right? Any thoughts on all this, or where you would like to see this thing go? Does Sam deserve a second chance?
Honestly, as an Aries, and if you know any Aries out there, I'm an Aries, my birth sign, and we're really practical, simple people. You know, like I love being outside. I'm going to get to why I'm saying I love being outside. I love touching the sand. No amount of money would I ever sacrifice my ability to be outside with the birds and the bees and the trees and the ocean. You know, like I'd rather be broke and always be able to be free. You know, when I hear 30 years in a prison, I cringe, man. You know, and honestly, I don't want anyone in there, but like you deserve it, man. Like everyone just looks at it like this wash of money. But, you know, after 9/11 happened, I went down to 9/11 and I read all the stories of all the people. And it's not just the building on TV. Like I saw kids, my dad never came home, and there was picture after picture. If we could put a wall up of how many people's lives he destroyed, and you could read all of them, little kids who didn't get their birthday presents, Christmases that were ruined, dads that may have jumped, you know, people may have committed suicide. Maybe people almost committed suicide, but, you know, now they're going through psychiatric stuff because
marriages fell apart.
Yeah, like, let's be honest. Like I'm getting goosebumps right now. I think God's speaking to me. He destroyed millions of people's lives around the world, dude. Around the world. Like, and whether I don't know if he's the Ponzi, if his parents set him up. It seems like he's kind of a scapegoat for others. But he was dumb enough to be involved. He was dumb enough to put himself in there. And, you know, and he seemed greedy enough to keep it going. You know, I do see like he's kind of like the dumb guy that got passed off, though. I think there's definitely some smarter people behind this. But we're not.
We all have a choice, lifer, right? We all have a choice. We all make decisions, and those decisions come with consequences. So, yeah, I'm all about self accountability, and you put it in such a good light that, you know, if you were to list all those people, and you after FTX collapse, you see all these Reddit forums and you know, people talking about how their life savings are gone, and we could sit here all day and say, you know, you should never invest your life savings, but people do what they do, and they just are blindsided, and I feel bad for them. But you know, it's like people like that need to be made an example of. And I've seen on social media people bringing up the fact that Bernie Madoff was way better tied politically than Sam, and he got 150 years. So they're expecting Sam to be put away for the rest of his life, which I believe is the least they can do for the man who literally ruined a lot of people's lives. I want to know from the chat, do you think Sam should go away, should get a life sentence? Put a 1 in the chat. For yes, put a 2 in the chat for no. Rocco, will you put a 1 on our behalf, please? Thank you very much. Now, lifer, get a Bitcoin chart ready, man, because I'm about to ask you a serious question here, lifer.
Oh, no.
We got this. While you do that, I'm going to do this. Bloomberg Intelligence calls for a U.S. recession by year end with Bitcoin price risks tilted towards $10,000. I'm going to read this really, really quick. The bottom line for Bitcoin at the start of Q4 may be that liquidity remains negative with price implications. Coming of age in a zero interest rate world, the crypto hangover could be enduring as global rates continue to rise despite recession signals. Our graphic shows what's been a prerequisite for Fed fund futures in 1 year to trough and indicate that liquidity is being turned back on. Bitcoin may need to fall first. Bitcoin has gained with most risk assets in 2023, but it may be a short covering rally. And here is a chart that they show, and they pretty much bring in liquidity. Now, lifer, 10K. What does a move down to 10K look like? And what are the probabilities of that happening? And and just please maybe talk us through a chart, show us what you're seeing. Is it even in the realm? Of course, anything is possible, but probability wise, what kind of probability will you put on it? And what does that move even look like?
All right. So I'm going to be as bearish as I've ever been, everyone. Okay.
No.
And normally I'm a little more bullish, but I'm going to be as bearish as I've ever been. All right. So this could be looked at as a broadening rising wedge, right? Up, down, up, down, up. And we lost this angle. And when you lost this angle, you could say, okay, we're coming down for a bearish retest. And this would have a measured move to the beginning of where the wedge began, right? So you would say, oh, we bearishly retest. And then look, a shoulder, a head, and a right shoulder. I haven't even seen this before. You guys have made me brainstorm into another realm of Bitcoin. And that could bring us back down to test the $14,000 level. At that point, we would have to make some type of bear flag and consolidate. We might even go up, something like this. And then you would see a bear flag form. You know, the daily or the 3-day chart would have to get very oversold, and then we would crash, you know, somewhere back down. I will know when this happens, everyone. For instance, the second we, like, you know, when I was running the bull market, the second we started getting below moving averages, I knew it was a wrap. You know, when we couldn't get above these levels, like I was able to call a lot of these shorts, right? And then I found the bullish divergence on the weekly here, and I started calling along. There was actually a cup and handle here on the small time frames. There was a gap in the VRVP, and I kept saying we're likely to get up to 19,000 pretty fast. We did that, right? And then once we got above the 200 SMA, I became bullish. I said every time you're below the 200 on the weekly, we're bullish. So I remained bullish. We lost it. I was bearish again. The only reason I traded long recently, remember, I called the long on your show last week. I don't know if you remember, but I said I'm super long. I nailed that long. It was huge, like that huge, massive candle. And on your channel, I was saying, look at all the weekly wicks to the upside. That was the main reason. I said, man, when is the last time you saw 6 weeks straight of buy pressure to the upside? How do we not get a flow further up? So everyone who's thinking we could go lower, I'm open-minded. And we do remain on the M1 and M2 money supply. If we don't get liquidity pumped into world markets, right? What I'm betting on is, you know, like I said before, I think you asked me what retail is. And like, to me, retail could also be Turkey, could also be El Salvador. We could see a big shift. Also, didn't a Wells Fargo exec jump off a building yesterday or something?
Like 2 days ago.
Why did he do that? Yeah. So like, and God rest his soul and his family. I don't want to, but was there something going on at Wells Fargo? Is another bank about to collapse? I don't want to scare people, but you see another bank go down, you're going to see a massive shift into Bitcoin. And regardless of how much money they're printing or the liquidity, again, I've also back tested weekly bullish divergence on every asset that I could find in the world. And it's right here on Bitcoin. And I could spend the whole class doing this today or the show, but I won't. And I've done it before on my live stream, and I'll do it again. It's just so rare for us to break that low. Like, it's so rare. We would have to have an insane, I think we'd have to have a black swan event where like food starts getting rationed and like World War III breaks out. Like, I really don't see how the night we went this low, I mean, FTX, you know, was out of control. And then I remember there was almost like we were about to have a nuclear war. They said that like Russia was shooting at a nuclear, you know, basically a building with nuclear weaponry in it that was going to, you know, and that within 2 hours, that news was gone. I bought at 2 a.m. because I was like, oh, that's got to be fake news scaring people. I was like, that's so much fear. Just like we said, there was so much fear that night. I got into more Bitcoin at 16.5, 16.8. So I just don't see how we're going to go that lower. At the same time, I'm so open-minded. I just play the chart. So if I see the weekly break this 50, you know, if the weekly can't get back above this 200 SMA, and if the 3-day loses this yellow line, you're going to see me switch more bearish. Every time we're above a 200 SMA, we're bullish. And you can look at this on any asset in the world too, Tesla. But look, the last time we got above the 3-day 200 SMA, it was the beginning of a bull run. Even this one, we had a massive run up from 17 to 14K. And then all the way back here, when we got above it here, it was the beginning of a bull run. So it was only a quick little bump up here, and then we had a black swan event. Had we not had the black swan, I'm pretty sure that 3-day chart would have been the beginning of just, you know, a slower move push out. So every time you get above the 200 SMA on the 3-day, I remain bullish. But the second we go below it, fine, I'll change my tune, and I'll go level by level. Like, we'll lose 25K. Oop, my finger slipped. We'll lose 25K, right? And if we lose 25K, then we know the next levels are going to be, you know, somewhere at 23,000 and 24. And then we'll go from there. And then we'll make bear flags, and then we'll do bearish retests. And I'll be doing this every day and every 5 hours, updating you guys and everyone in my trading group and around. So don't worry, man. We got analysts on the job for you guys 7 days a week. You're not going to be blindsided by any of these moves. And if it does happen, we're going to make a bunch of money shorting the market. And then we're going to be able to buy Bitcoin at the lowest prices that we never thought possible. So I would consider it an opportunity of a lifetime. And I would actually welcome it because I'd be able to short the market down, create liquidity for myself, and then I'd have money to get back into Bitcoin again at the lows. So I see it as an opportunity if it does happen, but I'll be taking it step by step. And if it does happen, I'm pretty sure my TA will let us know the probabilities of it going on.
What's funny, Lifer, is you said, I'm going to be as bearish as I've been. And then I'm listening to you. I'm like, I want to go buy more Bitcoin.
It's so insane.
I love it. You're very, I know your stuff, but I can see why people are so drawn to you because you're very convincing, and even a negative situation is positive. It's true though. The beauty of trading is you can make money on the way down or the way up. And the thing is, you can make money on the way down and just, as long as nothing changes on Bitcoin, you can accumulate cheap Bitcoin. For me, anytime I hear Bitcoin at 10,000, Bitcoin 8,000, I'm like, I'm ready. As long as nothing changes fundamentally with Bitcoin, I am ready. I'll buy at 1,000. I'll buy at 10,000. I'll buy at 20,000. I'm ready.
You're going to need so much fear to get it down there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it just, I don't know who wrote that article or what their main reason for writing it
Bloomberg.
was. Like, why would they want you to think Bitcoin? They basically want you to stay in your bank account. To me, they're buddies with Chase Bank.
Of course.
And maybe that Chase just shut down UK. And so they're just adding, like, don't get into Bitcoin.
Well,
they can.
That's why I believe banks are going to, they're so eager to start offering services in custody and crypto because that keeps the money that has been flowing out of their fiat system into the crypto ecosystem. They have some leverage over it. They have some access to it to be able to, hey, we'll hold your Bitcoin. We'll offer you insurance if something happens. We've been around for 120 years. We have safeguards in place. We're federally regulated. People feel safe. You've had your bank account with us for 10, 20 years. We can now custody your Bitcoin. And they're going to do the same thing they do with fiat. Is they're going to lend it out or whatever the case may be. Go ahead.
But yeah, it's like, that's why are they doing that? Like, why do they do that? No crypto like, I don't understand that. Like the whole UK Chase Bank thing. It's like,
because
yeah, I get it.
Think about it. Think about it.
When they buy more Bitcoin, right? They're taking money out of the bank. And
exactly.
So they're not making any money. But why don't they just lay down, man, before they get shut down? You know what I mean? Because it's like
they're not going to have a choice, and that's why we're starting to see more and more banks that are saying, "Yeah, we want to custody your crypto, want to offer services," because now with Treasury yields being so high, they would love to have more deposits. Take your money, dump it into a 90-day T-bill, earn 5%, and give you 0.025%. But if people aren't putting money in there because they're afraid or because they believe in Bitcoin or crypto more, that harms the very business that's making the money. And so
10K.
Screw the banks.
10K. It's going to 10K.
Going to 10K. And we're buying, baby. All right. Let's take a peek at where the markets are. And then we're going to do our portfolio review. So super excited that I did. So Lifer and I are going to give our review. I got a review from Rob and I got a review from Forrest. So this is going to be a good one, man. So stay tuned.
Interesting.
All right. Let's take a look at first where the rest of the crypto markets are. We did go over Bitcoin, as Lifer mentioned, $27,367. Still up for the week, almost 5%. ETH is hovering, a little bit over 1650. BNB coming in at number 4 at $213. XRP holding steady over 50 cents. Solana has leapfrogged Doge and Cardano and is now sitting at number 7, pretty much at $24, up 25% over the last 7 days. Solana is the only asset that has seen 27 consecutive weeks of institutional inflows. The only asset that's Bitcoin included. So, Cardano coming in at 26 cents with a market cap of 9.15 billion. Doge and Tron round out the top 10. And then as far as the crypto bubbles, Jimmy's happy as Gala is up 8%. Can we get some bullhorns for my boy Jimmy? Or, yeah, there we go. If you guys don't know, Jimmy's pretty public about this, but his goal was 1 million Gala tokens. He hit it. So big shout out to you, Jimmy. Hope your portfolio is looking well, my friend. Rollbit up, FTT up still. China Coin, which is Conflux, that is up as well. And Polygon Matic up 4.1%. Now, let's get in.
I dumped all my Gala for GFAL.
Did you
And
really?
then Gala continued to dump. I dumped it at 16. It went down to 14. And then GFL did like a 100% gain. So like, it was like, I could buy back all my Gala and more with the Gala win, with the GFAL win, man.
Lifer, we need to talk after this.
GFAL, just so everyone knows, games for a living. The guy who created Trip Hawkins was the CEO of EA Sports, dude. How is that?
Yeah, Trip
like
Hawkins,
a $50 million market cap. I'm just, not financial advice here, but I've got myself a bag, so you do you. GFAL, baby.
We're gonna talk after
games for a living.
We're gonna talk after. All right, guys. So our newest segment, which has been an absolute hit, is a segment called Rate My Portfolio, where we take submissions from our community. We don't ask for price amounts, right? We only ask for percentages. What percentage of your portfolio is in what coin? And then we rate it. You just tell us, if you want to, tell us the total value of the portfolio, tell us the percentages, and tell us what your goal of your portfolio is, and we'll rate it for you and give our opinion. This week, we will be rating this portfolio. I'm not going to dox the person who sent this because they sent it via a DM, so I'm assuming they would like to stay anonymous. Now, if they want to dox themselves in the chat, feel free to do so. But here we have $115,000 total worth portfolio, okay? Keep in mind, the goal for this person is to hold it until about 2025 or when the next bull market comes, DCA out of it to pay off his credit card debt, his mortgage, and save money for his retirement, okay? Keep those things in mind when you're rating this portfolio. Now, $115,000 portfolio. This leads with Ethereum coming in at 28% of the total portfolio, with Bitcoin coming in at nearly a quarter, 24%. The next biggest bag is Cardano coming in at 14%, followed by Polygon Matic at 12%, Chainlink at 9%. You have XRP at 7%, 2% going to Algorand and Kronos, Crow token, which is crypto.com. And then 1% going to BNB and 1% going to Avalanche. Now, Lifer, what are your thoughts? And we want you to be 100% honest here. What do you like?
Now I have some major issues with this portfolio.
Tell us, and then give us a rating 1 through 10, 1 being the absolute worst, 10 being perfect. Please, go ahead.
All right. Well, I look at trading like war. Right? For whatever reason, it's my best way. And when I go into war, I want all my tools and I want the best, basically getting 100x, 50x is like getting out of the war without getting killed. Right. So I want the highest probability of winning, which is getting out without dying. Right. So when I look at this portfolio, I think of all the different narratives and things that are becoming into the next bull run. And I want a piece of those. I see no real AI in here. So right off the bat, like I don't see AGIX. I don't see Fetch AI. I don't see I just, I don't see Terra. I see no coins that are really like forefronting the AI narrative. And I think that's where you're going to be able to get a bulk of gains. So right off the bat, like I would throw Crow out immediately. I don't like Crow at all. I don't like their game plan. I don't like the people who start in the company. When they first came out, I was one of the first people to get their card. Then when you got the card, using your card, the fees were so high, like it was almost pointless to take your money out of the app. Everyone that had the app told me it was a bad experience. They didn't like it. Sorry, crypto.com. I'm not a fan. I wouldn't hold the coin, so I'm not, Bitcoin and Ethereum, that's pretty cool. He's got 24% of Bitcoin. I would have more Bitcoin and ETH, but I believe ETH will outperform if you're willing to sell some of it. Now he said he wants to pay it off and make savings. I see some people that get into crypto and they still don't get bit by the Bitcoin bug. They're just in the investment bug and they're like, I'm going to make gains. I hope this man is hoping to hold some of that Bitcoin for long term and not sell it just for fiat. Like, I hope part of his saving idea is to actually keep, I don't sell Bitcoin personally. Like, I might buy, like right now I have a holding. I might buy like 4 Bitcoins and me and my wife will say, we're guaranteed going to sell these at the next run to use them for company purposes, right? Like, it will be 4, but mainly like when I buy Bitcoin, unless I've specifically decided like that's what we're doing for company purposes. Like when I buy Bitcoin, I do not sell Bitcoin because I believe I can use it for collateral. I like the Cardano. I like the XRP in there. What's that one on the bottom that I can't see?
BNB, Binance.
Yeah. I love BNB. I think a little more wouldn't be too bad. I like the Matic call. AVAX is good. Maybe a little more. I would exchange that 2% of Crow back into AVAX. I love Chainlink. This is a very safe portfolio. You know what I mean? I don't see 50Xs coming out of here. But this is something that could probably do a nice 5X. You know, if allocated properly, I could see $500,000 coming out of the 100 grand. Matic is going to be its probably biggest winner, in Cardano, I think they're the ones. Crow might be able to do the biggest multiple, but again, I think there's just better coins out there. I give this like a 5.5, man. It's pretty weak. You know, it's good for the safe person that maybe have just got into crypto, but for someone that's researching every day and really diving deep, I feel like it has a lot of holes. But again, it's also great for someone that it depends on the person's risk. For someone that doesn't want to be too risk adverse, I think it's a beautiful portfolio too. But for me, I give it a 5. It's just missing too many parts. Where's the gaming? Where's Immutable X? Where's Illuvium? I see no gaming in here. I don't see any AI in here. I don't see any ZK rollup. I see no, Lido stake. I don't see Rocket Pool. I don't see any liquid staking too. Liquid staking is going to be huge. These are the narratives, everyone. Web3, liquid staking. You're going to want to get gaming. You're going to want to get some AI, and you're going to want to get the one I just said there. You're going to want to get liquid staking, AI. Gaming. You're going to have to get those. I believe those are going to be big in the next bull run, and I just don't see any exposure there in gaming, ZK rollup. You're going to want to have some exposure to ZK rollups.
Yeah. Awesome, man.
Which is ZK Sync and Illuvium, stuff like that.
Well, one can argue, just to play devil's advocate, Polygon-matic did introduce the ZK zero knowledge.
Oh yeah, you're right. No, they do have ZK. Sorry, but that's the big one. Like I want to get one of the little ones that really do a 50X or something.
Yeah. Okay. So Lifer gives it about a 5.5. Okay. Great insight, by the way, Lifer. Thank you for that. And guys, if you submit your portfolios, you will always get 100% honesty. If we don't like some, we're going to tell you. If we love some, we're going to tell you. Now, I got Rob's. So I got his last night. Rob said he could give this an 8 out of 10. The 2% exposure to larger mid caps, which is Crow, Algorand, AVAX, BNB, would sell those and pick some high risk plays from the CoinMarketCap list 70 to 200. That is what Robin said. Forrest said no Solana, thumbs down. Not a fan of Crow. Everything else is fine, but would like to see more Link and Solana. Also needs to have some stable coins ready to buy big dips. And Forrest gives it a 7 out of 10. Now, here is what I would like to say about this portfolio. I actually think this is a good portfolio. I would make some changes to it. And the one thing I keep in mind, I'm like, all right, this man has a $115,000 portfolio, and he wants to just start DCAing out in the next bull market to pay credit card debt, mortgage, and save for retirement. So for me, he doesn't want high risk plays. He doesn't want big exposure to riskier things. And so for me, a little over 50% in Bitcoin and ETH, I would even up that a little more. And I agree with Lifer, as I would have more Bitcoin than I would have Ethereum. There is zero need to take massive risk. I love Cardano in here at 14%. I would up, and you guys know how bullish I am on Chainlink. I went on a freaking tweet spree last night watching Sergey Nazarov's keynote speech at SmartCon 23. I would up Chainlink. I think Chainlink is going to melt faces. And that is an easy, I don't want to say easy, but it is a pretty safe bet and a potential 20-30X, in my opinion. Love Polygon-matic. Agree with you Lifer. Get rid of Crow token. I do not like BNB. I would get rid of BNB, get rid of Crow. Algorand is a good one. Algorand is at what, 10 cents? Had an all-time high of $3.56. We do know the issue with they partner with the Clinton Foundation. They got a lot of bad rap about that, but they still have a good team. They've been around for a long time. I have no issue with that. AVAX, if you look at the chart on a long daily or weekly, they look like literally a meme coin that went to zero. But AVAX is doing a lot of big things with the evergreen subnets, catering to more institutions. So for me, the 1% AVAX is fine. And this is going to be an unpopular opinion, but for what you want your portfolio to do, Scott, I would get rid of XRP. You have 7% in XRP, and let me tell you why, okay? I believe XRP is going to be massive, but not in the next bull market. What you guys got to understand is this, right? You got to understand this man's goal is to DCA out in the next bull market. Do you guys really think a full trial is going to end in the next year and a half, 2 years? I do not believe so. I really don't. So how much is that going to hinder the price? Now, if you want to have 1 to 2 or 3% of your portfolio in XRP? Sure. Will it get to 80, 90 cents a dollar? Yes, it definitely would. But to have 7% while you only have 2% in Algorand, 9% in Chainlink, and 12% in Polygon, I would reallocate that. I would get rid of Crow, get rid of BNB, keep Algo where it's at, maybe up AVAX a little bit. That to me is a little bit of a riskier play, but I would probably have 65 to 70% in Bitcoin / Ethereum. ETH to me is an easy 5x. Bitcoin to me is an easy 5 to 8x, like minimum. I'm leaning more towards 10x. Once that liquidity comes in, Polygon ain't going anywhere. Cardano, 25 cents to $3. That's what is that? That's a 12x. And we know what Cardano is doing. They're building Charles Hoskinson. So for me, you have over 6 figures tied in, and all you want to do is pay off your mortgage and your debt. Don't take risk. So that's kind of my thesis there. You got any pushback there, Lifer? And I would probably give this about an 8.5 out of 10.
Honestly, Dave, you just blew me away, man. Like, I sat there and I found myself entranced in your words, and I was really listening to you. And this show is amazing. I just think the value that people are getting here is unbelievable, man. And because you talked about the different axes. I mean, you think a 10x out of Bitcoin, that gets me excited. I always go I lowball Bitcoin, 120, because it's like I want it to be so big, so I never want to like get it, So I think maybe 120,000. Maybe we get a 6x out of it. But man, I would love to see 200,000. That'd be cool.
Lifer, we're talking about Lifer. Think of this, right? And think of the basis of supply and demand, right? You have the supply of Bitcoin from miners is getting cut in half. You have $20 trillion of assets that are being managed will now have access to a Bitcoin product.
Yeah.
My absolute worst case with a spot ETF and the halving is $150,000 Bitcoin. That is, for me, the worst case scenario. The absolute worst case scenario, which is a 6x. Best case scenario, 250, 300K. So I think it's just going to be it's going to be massive. And so big shout out to Scott Watson. I do want to share one thing, Scott. You did mention you do want a DCA out. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to plug one of the things I like to use. So our friend Forrest comes on this channel. He has something called Easy Bands. And so I've talked about this on our show as well. And if you want to learn how to DCA in and out, this is what I do. Okay. So you have the green bands and the red bands. All you got to do is simple. Go to the daily, throw on the Easy Bands. Once prices starts to get into the red, you start your DCA out. If it's between the red and the green, you stay flat. And once it gets in the green, you start to DCA in. So if you want to keep things simple, that is the simplest way I would do it. And if you do want to use the product, there's an affiliate link. So shameless plug there. Lifer, anything you would advise or anything you use personally, or maybe something that you have, cryptolifer.com that you would use to DCA out? Because everyone says, I want to DCA out, but where do you start? How much do you do it? How do you ladder? What kind of advice are we giving our friend here?
Number one, before we even look at the markets, you got to have an idea and a plan for what you're going to do. Like right now, I'm obsessed with owning 2 condos in Sarasota overlooking the water for rental properties. That's just like, it's stuck in my mind. And so my AI portfolio that I've put money into, I would like to take out like 500,000, put 200 grand into $500,000, or $600,000 condo. So like I have it stuck in my mind what I'm going to do with the money. And the reason is because there was times where I did make over like 500 to 800 grand. And I was just like, oh, I'm rich. I have money. And I didn't have a plan for it. So like I wasn't as quick to take the money out of the market because all I knew was what I was doing. You know what I mean? When you start having goal, like this guy, I love that he says, I have a goal. I want, because he has a goal, he will sell. Because when if the coin gets to a certain price and he hit his goal, who cares if it keeps going up, right? So I tell everyone to have a goal for where you're at. When you hit that goal, who cares if the market go up or down? Begin to just take out what you need. Always leave a runner. You don't have to take it all. You can leave 20% in. You know what I mean? A great way for me for DCAing is using moving averages. And I'll just show them. Like I use weekly, 2-week moving averages, right? And so what you'll see is, and I'll delete all my work here and just make it clean. But what you'll notice, and this is in like many different time frames, but what you'll notice is Whenever the moving averages get very, very close together and tight, I'm just going to add my 80 and my 100. Whenever they get super close together and tight, that's when I'm in on a weekly and my stochastics RSI are low. And I like the 2-week specifically. It just tends to give me a little more buffer of buying and selling. I like the DCA, right? And whenever the white line, see when this white line and the 200, whenever they get extremely far apart and we start getting a bearish divergence. So look, Bitcoin made a bearish div here. It had a swing down on the RSI, and the white line and the 200 were very far apart. So like I kind of can tell when the market's going to shift based on these moving averages. See how the moving averages are tight right now? It's usually a good sign that like the price is going to kind of dilly-dally around here because they're close, and they're going to stay close, and then we're going to get our big run. And when we get a big run, and you could trade any asset in the world like this, when you get a big run, what's going to happen is the 22 is going to separate, and it's going to keep separating. And eventually the price is going to separate from the 22. Eventually the price is going to get so far away from the 22, and the 22 is going to be so far away from the 200. I can't tell you that's the exact top, but that's where you're going to start. That's a great place to start DCAing out. You know, a lot of people say 12 months to 18 months from a halving. I just start DCAing at that 12 months and then DCA for 6 months out. You know, the DCA is going to take longer than you realize. The market's going to shift.
Yeah.
It's not going to be easy. Trust me, like, you know, it's not going to be easy, but a bearish div away from these tight. And again, like if you look at anything in the world, like if you look at Tesla, you could trade anything like this, which is pretty cool. And you'll find your in and outs. You know, look, here's Tesla, you know, and you can go back to like, you could trade this on the daily. Whenever Tesla got tight on the moving averages, that was a beautiful entry, right? So this is like, you know, this coincides with the easy bands a little bit when they get close and when they get far apart. I don't know exactly how he made the indicator, but I think they have some moving averages implemented. I could be wrong, or some type of Bollinger Band thing going on there. But, and look, then you take your measured move. That's where you go. And then look what happened. When do you get out of Tesla? The white line and the are far apart. And then you got a you know, kind of on the 1 hour or the 12, you would have had a bearish div there. You got like a triple top. Same thing here. And then, so like now we're getting tight. Tesla looking like it actually may be getting ready for a move, which is weird because they're saying that the S&P and we're having a recession. And the daily for Tesla looks like it's going to explode to 400. I believe they're going to print money. I believe they're going to start printing money. Too many people got into office, right? They won the House. Democrats won the House or won the Senate. Republicans won the House. A lot of people got into office, and they told the towns and the people that they got in, you know, some guy had a really nasty, let's say it was an old library, and he was in Montgomery, Alabama. And he said, I'm going to redo this library, right? But he needs $5 million. They're all going to go and vote for deficit spending. Where are they going to get the money? We're in complete debt. They're going to print it. When they print it, it goes to into the banking section. It gets, you know, brought into investment capital, and then it trickles down to the American people. So like, I just don't see how this money doesn't make it back into the stock market, even though they're claiming for a recession. I also see the news scaring everyone. And whenever they do that, it usually means the big boys are loading up. You know, so it's weird. It's like looking like a perfect storm for a short squeeze. This is also, this is a shoulder. That's a bit of a head, and that's a right shoulder. We do have some resistance, and I'm using Tesla because it's kind of like a forefront. It's like using ETH as a forefront for alts. It's like a forefront for the S&P in a way, right? If the S&P is going to crash, Tesla's probably going to crash. But the S&P going to pump, Tesla's going to pump. So I just want to put that out there. I'm getting a lot of TradFi putting a lot of fear in the market. Dude, you pump Veracity, by the way. Nice job.
I saw that DM you sent. And I don't know if our channel's that big yet, but yeah. Man, what great insight that was. So big thank you there, Lifer. I do want to go over one more piece of news here, because obviously it was the theme of our show, of our thumbnail, is this piece of news here. Celsius Lawyer says revival plans include $450 million in seed funding. Bankrupt crypto lending firm Celsius has found a way to fund its proposed relaunch. The company intends to exit bankruptcy with $450 million in funding. That funding will come from Fahrenheit LLC. This is just too funny to me. Celsius needs help from Fahrenheit. A group of companies that is otherwise highly involved in Celsius's bankruptcy case, Fahrenheit, won the bidding process on Celsius's assets, and looks like they're getting some help from Kelvin as well. The revived version of Celsius reportedly will operate as user-owned Bitcoin miner. We do know that Celsius had a pretty big mining operation, and Celsius may be able to more effectively compensate customers and creditors if the revival plan is successful. though Celsius expects to distribute $2 billion of crypto, it also intends to provide creditors with stock in the new company, plus a stake in litigation against former CEO Alex Mashinsky. And apparently they're looking to pay people back by the end of this year. Lifer, Robin, if Robin was here, Robin always says, we miss Robin. Robin always says, nope, they don't deserve a second chance, let them die. And my argument is, well, if them coming back means people would get more of their money, we should be for it. What are your thoughts? What side of the aisle do you land on? Should they revamp, come back, and potentially get their creditors more money back, people that had money locked on there, or just they need to learn a lesson, they need to go away, we don't need another revamp of Celsius?
I mean, these are corporate heartless bastards that don't care, man. They don't need to learn any lesson. If they learned these lessons, they wouldn't have run this thing to the ground in the first place, right? So the idea is to help the poor people that have been bashed and battered. I really don't care whether he does 10 years, 20 years, or starts a new company. I mean, I don't want him. I don't want the same people having the same access to people's capital. I hope maybe they can write a clause like Bernie Madoff, I'm sure, or if he didn't, I think he did kill himself, right? But if he didn't, or like Sam Bankman-Fried, they took away his privileges to use a computer, right? It's like, restrict these people from ever doing these things again, number one, all right? Like, he should not be allowed to run a fund ever again, ever. Period, right? So that's like, and as long as we say that, that's to me, and once we say that, fine, let's do whatever we can to repurpose these funds and get them back. And if we can somehow restructure this and get the people their money, like, let's get whatever can get, even if they can get pennies to the dollar, whatever they can get, like, let's just whatever can help people get their money back, please.
I'm with you on this one. I think, the whole idea of, even if it helps people get more money back, they don't like, just if there's a potential that people can get money back from a new revival, I'm all for it. But as long as Mashinsky has nothing to do with it, is nowhere around, like you said, is never allowed to ever do another fund again.
Not a penny.
Not a single penny. Lifer. So guys, if you want more crypto Lifer, we do have Lifer's YouTube channel pinned in the comment section. Make sure to go subscribe. If people want more Lifer, if they want to learn the ways of the crypto Lifer, where can they get more information?
CryptoLifer.com. Started our brand new website. I love it. It's awesome. You can get anything you want. You can ask us questions there in the support section if you want to know how to join or whatnot. I go live every single day, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, and Saturday and Sunday nights at 8 p.m. Saturday night, we did the monthly close. Sunday night, we did the weekly candle close. I do a weekly candle close every Sunday night, and I do a fun Saturday show at 8 p.m. So I'm live 7 days a week. You'll always get, an update, what's happening. And then I even do 2 morning streams on the weekend for quick Bitcoin updates, just so people, because not many people do live streams. I figured, the crypto community needs that. So 7 days a week, I think it's almost like 10 streams a week. And I'm here for you guys every single day. I'm so passionate about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. I'm not going anywhere. I love this channel. Follow me on Twitter. I'm always posting on Twitter all the time. So CryptoLifer.com. Thank you so much for bringing up the site. You guys are awesome.
For sure. This is a nice looking website, man.
Dude, we worked on it for 6 months, back and forth. Like, I kept every week at my business meeting, I'd be like,
"This is good, man. This is
what's up with the website?" And I would get a runaround, and I'd be like, "All right." And as a CEO, like, you can only ask the question for so long till you eventually just like, you know what I mean? Unless you could physically grab the person, like, what is going on with my website? But you got to be patient. You have 100 wheels moving, and I'm learning how to CEO, man. I was just a trader with a trading group, but now I have a team and people, and I'm allocating and I'm having meetings, and it's been a blast. I truly love it.
And we can tell you truly love it, right? We can tell you don't just do it for the money. You do it because you truly are passionate and love the space. And that is why you're a gem, my friend. We appreciate you helping us out, joining us. I believe we're going to have you back on Thursday as well, co-hosting. So that should be a lot of fun too.
Yeah.
So big thank you again. Also, big thank you to our channel sponsors, Cam's Blue Wire Tech. If you want to learn how they can help your business maximize your networking, IT, and cybersecurity, visit bluewiretech.com. Also, huge thank you again to Radix, Radically Better DeFi. If you want to learn more about their ecosystem, their wallet, anything else, visit radixdlt.com. Also, go follow us on Twitter at SinCityCrypto1. If you want to support the channel, there's plenty of ways to do so. And with that being said, Rocco. Actually, Lifer, can you tornado us out of here, man? Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. It was an absolute blast. Big thank you to Lifer. Big thank you to Scott for submitting your portfolio. We'll be back tomorrow, same place, same time. Until next time, love you. Bye.
Sin City, crypto. Everybody know we here for entertainment and info. Gonna show you how to get that big dough. So every day stay tapped in for big facts, no capping. With Bitcoin, if you're in, then you win. We divide the pie with no fraction. It's Big Rob, David. I spit the game, but they gave it. Name the coin that's your favorite. I got dry powder, why save it? To the OGs, new beginners. Special shout out to the well members. Buy the dip, sell winners. Ain't really nothing you can tell sinners. Tune in for the latest new flavors. They gonna teach us mean coins. They polarizing like barbecue chicken pizzas. I laugh with a major grin. Laggers, we trade them in. Baddies, they came to sin. And sinners gon' play to win. Screaming, hola, till my bags are flowing over. Hold ya to the moon and to the solar.
Also, big ups to Scott for a $10 super chat again. Said appreciate everyone's feedback. And then another $5 says people says never sell Bitcoin. What are your thoughts on selling at the top and keeping stables to buy more Bitcoin? Tune in tomorrow, my friend. I'll answer that question for you. If you want to support your portfolio, you can do it via Discord, DM me, DM Crypto Billy, or DM us on Twitter at SinceretoCrypto1. We love you guys.